Hello again. There was much satisfaction on Wednesday night when, after spreading false information about a planned series of riots, crowds of left-wingers and anti-racists gathered in large numbers at various locations to challenge the far right, who have, by the way, become something of a folk devil in modern Britain. The founder of Hope Not Hate admitted that the list of planned attacks by the far right was a hoax, but thought that it had served its purpose well by mobilising many anti-racists who were photographed and appeared on the front pages of all the newspapers. As Hermann Rosenbaum, a Jesuit theologian who died in the 17th century, wrote, "When the end is lawful, the means to achieve it are likewise lawful." In other words, because they feel that their cause is noble and just, anti-racists believe themselves justified in telling any lies and deceiving whomsoever they wish. That's why Hope Not Hate felt no compunction about spreading the false story about acid being thrown over a Muslim woman. But how heartening were those photographs of left-wing types and anti-racists in reality? What kind of people were they, really? Were they peace-loving and kind people who hated violence? The London district of Walthamstow was trending on Twitter on Wednesday as an example of the kind of place which would stand up to those who were trying to spread hatred and encourage violence. We were assured that in Walthamstow at least, the ordinary good-hearted citizens would stand against those who wished to divide society and show that they rejected violence. The thumbnail to this video shows a small section of this crowd of worthy folk. The man delivering a speech is a Labour councillor and trade unionist from Dartford, a member of a visible minority into the bargain. He seems to tick all the right progressive boxes. Just the kind of fellow upon whom we may depend to calm things down at a time like this, when the threat of violence is in the air, no? Except, of course, that talking of those people with whose political views he disagreed, he said that we need to cut all their throats. While saying so, he gave an appropriate throat-cutting gesture. Okay, he was just one person. Perhaps he became overexcited. But the response of the crowd was interesting. At hearing this incitement to murder, people began cheering, laughing, and clapping. A woman wearing an Amnesty International t-shirt standing next to him smiled and applauded. He finished off by leading the crowd in a chant of Free, Free Palestine. This was a militant left-wing political rally, not a gathering of ordinary people who wished to stand against racism at all. These were left-wing folk who were keen on the idea of cutting throats, as they indicated by their reaction to the speech. I have no idea if the other anti-racists across the country were possessed by similarly bloodthirsty sentiments, but this crowd was certainly being encouraged to violence and murder. Incidentally, the Prime Minister made much recently about how mobile these far-right thugs are, and we heard how strangers were turning up in people's towns to cause mischief. The man calling for the cutting of throats lives in Dartford, which is on the other side of London from Walthamstow. He must have gone there specially to stir up trouble. I wonder about the composition of those other crowds on Wednesday night, and how many were made up of people like that who had travelled a long way to masquerade as concerned local people staging spontaneous demonstrations.